We know that Dubai is one of the best places if you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to start your own business, but it's quite hard to start up a business considering all the legal paperwork. Well, Clara is a market disrupting Dubai-headquartered company that helps startups handle all their legal paperwork, and they're celebrating because they've received both investment and support from Plug and Play. Now, PNP is the largest innovation platform in the world to help deliver all the benefits of Clara's suite of services to help global startups. To get more details on this, we are joined by the co-founder and the CEO of Clara, Patrick Rogers. Patrick, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on this partnership.
Thanks, Lachlan. Great to be here, and thanks for the shout out.
It's a fantastic achievement, but first of all, go back to Clara, if we can start back. For someone who is looking to start up a business, what is Clara and what are the services you offer?
So I would say we service a niche in the overall entrepreneurial ecosystem. All right. So what our platform offers is everything that venture backed or venture backable tech company founders require. And they require a lot more support than an average SME because, of course, they're raising venture capital from institutional investors. And those institutional investors have a lot of sophisticated legal demands of them. So your average startup in Dubai, you name anyone that you know, from quite an early stage has to have at least two companies. As an example, they have their operating company in the jurisdiction they're operating in, like the UAE, and then they have a holding company on top of that, which is their fundraising vehicle. And those fundraising vehicles can only be located in a small handful of global jurisdictions that international institutional investors will invest through. So that is a lot more sophisticated than your average SME where you're opening a restaurant. You have to worry about intellectual property capture, managing your cap table and all the equity, incentivizing team members as you scale quickly. And our platform allows those early stage tech company founders to do all of this in a self-sufficient manner without relying on super expensive lawyers.
Look, it is so hard, and even with the SMEs, you hear stories of what it's like when you are a startup, the amount of businesses that fail within those 12 months because they might understand their product, and they might be a really creative, driven individual, but at the administration side of things and the self-discipline that's required is quite often where people can have their passion and their heart often overrule their head on so many decisions. So and that's, I guess, to put it simply. So you're helping, a higher level of businesses to a certain degree. So when you have this opportunity of yourself having investment and support from Plug and Play, what does it mean for a business like yourself?
Well, investment from Plug and Play is indicative of our overall go-to-market strategy. So Plug and Play, as you rightly noted, is one of the top accelerator platforms in the world. They operate across 60 different countries with their headquarters in San Francisco. We're also very glad to count other global platforms like Techstars or 500 Global as both investors and channel partners. And organizations like these come into contact with early stage tech entrepreneurs kind of right at the beginning of their journeys and are obviously built to support them across a wide variety of needs, whether it's their marketing strategy or hiring or pricing. But legal in every case has to form part of that journey because, again, these are not companies that can simply be bootstrapped by the founders. They have to scale up quickly. They're going to be loss leading for quite a sustained period of time. And so if you're raising venture dollars from institutional investors, you have to get all this legal stuff sorted. And so it's a nice dovetailing of our tech solution with the distribution of a global juggernaut like a Plug and Play.
Because you've got around 4,000 global startups that have created profiles along with you in Clara. So now to have this Plug and Play ecosystem, what are some of the range of products and what's some of the support that you are specifically going to be offering people?
So we're going to provide some tailored solutions, whether it be education or legal onboarding journeys based on the recommended steps that the Plug and Play team suggests their portfolio companies take, similar to what we've done with both Techstars and 500. And in terms of the offering within the platform itself, it runs the gamut. So from digital company formation through to cap table management, Founders can create and sign all the legal agreements they need through the system. It's their data room solution. It manages their cap table for them. And underlying all of that is our predictive education function, which is chatbot led, where the founders can talk to Clara like they're talking to a lawyer.
Wow, isn't that incredible? That's a really reflection of the times. And you're also offering health checks. So when you offer a health check, is this assessing income or expenditure, or just essentially the business's position in the market?
It's more narrow than that for right now, Lachlan. So we're focused on the legal health structure of the business. So Clara is a rules-based platform. Myself and a few of my co-founders, we were previously venture capital lawyers. We did deals in 40 plus countries around the world, always acting for the startups. So we know this stuff inside out. So the way the platform works is, based on the gaps that a lawyer would find in your legal structure when you're going to raise investment, the software identifies those gaps for the founders and then gives them pathways using the system to address those gaps. So they're always kind of due diligence ready for an investment round.
So when you're looking at some of those gaps, clearly, is that based on the information that you've already input due to your experience?
It is based on our experience. Like I said, it is rules based. That's the way the software works. But based on the documentation, for example, that the startups have created through the system, based on the location or jurisdiction of the companies that the system knows that startup has, we mix together this list of ingredients and we spit out some recommendations for the founders. So even in the earliest example of when they basically have nothing in their profile, we can identify a huge range of things that they need to get done.
In your role, when someone comes to you because they do want to start up a business, obviously it's more niched in terms of the companies that you're looking for. But how is it different in the UAE? You've done the legal documents for startups for so many countries around the world. Specifically, what are the challenges that you find unique for businesses that are starting up in this country?
Look, I would zoom out more broadly. So getting up to 30,000 feet, there are challenges that startups operating from emerging markets broadly have that startups operating from emerged markets like, say, the US, the UK, or Singapore don't have. And it goes back to that first point I mentioned, which is the confidence that international investors have in the fundraising entity jurisdictions. So investors are obviously very hot on being able, they can ensure the enforcement of their investor rights in a quick and timely fashion. So, startups around the world have this issue where they, by and large, have to set up two companies pretty early in the game, and we see that in the UAE too. I would say that the UAE, as opposed to almost every other emerging market jurisdiction, has the advantage of the two financial free zones, ADGM and DIFC, which are mainly seen by international investors as investor grade jurisdictions. Yeah. So you would see, for example, ADGM being used as a fundraising jurisdiction by a lot of businesses operating from Saudi, right? That's a very common pathway. So you'd have in their two company structure, you've got a company operating in Saudi, and then sitting on top of that, you've got an ADGM holding company where they raise their funds through. They might hold their intellectual property there. They distribute their ESOP and options to their team. So the UAE, I think, is certainly ahead of the game, but a lot of startups in the jurisdiction still struggle with this idea that they're going to need to set up two companies early on.
Yeah, look, I think that its landscape has certainly changed. There's a lot more consumer and investor confidence in the area. But, going through, if someone was going to start up a business in either of those financial free zones, you mentioned they've got those independent jurisdictions. Why, getting slightly off the topic of PMP, but to your business in Clara, if I was to come to you, what would make you decide that I should be starting up a business in either DIFC or ADGM?
I think it would depend on the type of business. So if you're saying you want to operate a company from either of those jurisdictions, say you're a fintech solution, right? So it would make sense for you to base your operations in either DIFC or ADGM. And I think each of them have core strengths across the wide gamut of fintech businesses you could be providing. And my recommendation to you would be to have a chat with each of the BD teams there, who would be very open to have a discussion with you. You could have a chat with some of the founders who are kind of concentrated in the areas, whether it's Hub 71 down in ADGM or FinTech Hive, for example, and in the DIFC. But both those places are doing tremendous jobs in building these fantastic clusters of really smart folks building cool tools and solutions.
Well, Patrick, congratulations on all of your work. I think this is fantastic. If you do want to get more details on Clara, they do help enable startups to concentrate on your business rather than all the legal paperwork that can be confusing for many people. And also now you deal with Plug and Play, which has been labelled as Silicon Valley's largest global innovation platform. Sounds like you're another amazing Dubai success story. So, Patrick Rogers, thank you very much for joining us here on TSB.
Thank you,